Sup guys, Christos here. Now, since I posted this video talking about how I was going all in on DraftKings stock, well, pretty much since that video, this stock has been completely obliterated. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about number one, why I think this stock has crashed a lot over the past month. Number two, why I am not worried about this stock at all going forward. Let's get that thing clear straight away. And then finally, number three, do I actually still plan on going all in on this company? We're going to be discussing all of those things in this video, and we are starting right now. All right, so let's start things off by looking at this company's stock price year to date. Now, as you can see, it's not been the best year for DraftKings. Let me just zoom in a little bit here. I invested into this company literally just around the first initial dip, because back then I think I bought it at around $49. I thought I was getting it at very good value, but as you can see, since then we have seen a massive crash all the way down to roughly, I think yesterday it was sitting in the mid 30s range, and this has been a big dip in this stock price. As you can see, we go and take a look at my investment into this company. I am currently 29.18% down on this stock at the point of recording this video, which is a capital loss, let's say, of £719, which isn't the best, but this stock has just been crushed. There's nothing else I can literally say about this. So that is exactly where I stand on this stock. And what I want to get into right now is why I think this has actually happened. And I'm going to say straight away, I can't see anything out there that indicates that DraftKings has done anything personally themselves to indicate a stock crash in its individual stock price. I think literally every time I have logged into my trading apps and I've seen that my DraftKings investment has dropped even further, the first thing that I have always done is gone to the news articles. I thought there must be something that's came out about this company that is bad, that is causing this. And every time I have done this, nothing has actually came out in the news, and this left me to be really confused as to why this stock price is dropping. For example, if we just take a look at Peloton stock here, now this is a company or an example of a company where there has been some bad news around this stock that has caused this stock to crash. As you can see, at the start of November, around about the earnings time, it came out that Peloton stock or their sales were slowing down massively because people are now starting to go to the gym and they're not starting to use bikes at home and all of that stuff. And this is a piece of news that would cause a stock to crash. I haven't seen this in DraftKings stock price. There has been nothing out there to say that DraftKings is slowing down in terms of their revenue. If anything, it's growing. We are growing at 60% revenue per year. There is nothing out there to say that this is a business that is slowing down. So going back to the question, what is actually causing DraftKings stock to crash? And I personally believe that the thing that is causing this stock price to crash is that the fact that pretty much every other single small to mid cap growth company is crashing at the same time as well. Now, if we just take a look here at the Russell 2000 index, which pretty much represents the small cap companies, we can see that pretty much since the start of the year, this has been trading at pretty much the same kind of range. You know, we've had a few little ups and a few little downs, but roughly it's been trading around kind of just above that 2,200 mark. And at the end of October, we actually saw a little bit of a breakout all the way up until the start of November, which was around that earnings season time. And then since then, we have now crashed all the way down, actually almost kind of breaking this support here, going even further. And all of the companies that I have been investing into this year would probably qualify for this index. They are all kind of small to mid cap, high growth companies that I'm betting on for the long term. And there's nothing to say really here apart from that they have all just been getting crushed in terms of a general market perspective. Now, if we were to actually take a look at the flip side and we actually take a look at the S&P 500, which are the bigger companies in America, we haven't really seen as much of a dip. In fact, what we have actually seen is a few companies in this index, especially Apple, that controls, I think it's around 6 or 7% of this index, actually see its all-time highs being hit. You know, in a place where we're fearing about a new variant with the C word, you know, maybe people are starting to look at companies like Apple, Microsoft, Google, and and some of the other big companies, Nvidia, as more so safe havens now of places to put their money rather than going and betting on these smaller to mid-cap high growth companies, because maybe people have feared that the C word, I'm not going to say it anymore, is going to be coming back. And this could be a reason why Apple has been pumping heavy right now. Of course, we all know that Apple has a massive cash position, so they're never going to have to worry about going or finding themselves in any kind of financial issues, really, at least in the short to mid-term. And maybe people are just taking their money out of these smaller to mid-cap plays and going into these big companies. That could be a reason which is crashing all of these high growth companies that I'm personally investing into. But realistically, when it comes to answering the question, why do I think DraftKings is getting crushed right now? The only reason that I can pinpoint is the fact that it isn't just DraftKings that is getting crushed. It is pretty much every other growth company that is getting crushed as well. Now, when it comes to me talking about why I am not worried about this at all, and let me tell you, when I say I am not worried, there has not been 1 ounce of worry enter my body over the past 2 to 3 weeks as to why this stock price is crashing. In terms of me worrying about my investment of DraftKings in the long term, let's say, because one thing that I have always tried to ingrain in myself, and let me tell you, I am a new investor. I have only been investing for 3 to 4 years in the stock market, but the one thing, and one of the major things that I have learned, is that you have to invest into the businesses and not the stock price. And the first thing that I want to start off in this section about is actually showing you a couple of quotes from the legend himself, Warren Buffett. And that is, number one, only buy something that you'd be perfectly happy to hold if the stock market was to shut down for 10 years. So when it comes to referring to DraftKings, I bought DraftKings at around $49. From there, we have seen it crash all the way down to, let's say, $30 or $31, what it's sitting at right now. There has been no worry at all for me right now because this is a long-term play for me. The other quote that I want to share with you is very similar, and that is, if you are not willing to own a stock for 10 years, do not even think about owning it for 10 minutes. So to those that have left me a few YouTube comments on the DraftKings video I made where I said that I was going all in on it when it was at $49, guys, in that video, I'm a long-term investor. I said it in that video. Why would I even be worried? This is like 3 weeks after I made that video. Why would I even be worried about the stock price 3 weeks after I said that I was going to be investing into this company for the long term? If anything, right now, this is what I want to be seeing. Obviously, it's not great seeing your stock getting crushed every single week, but one thing that this is going to do is going to present some more buying opportunities so I can get my average down. We'll be talking about that in just a second. But realistically, guys, I have no worries about this company going forward. If the company was to come out and say, listen, we did really bad revenue figures. Listen, this company isn't going to be exactly what we were making it out to be in terms of our guidance, I would be extremely worried, or at least it would cause some kind of concern about how I was going to approach investing into this company in the future. But that hasn't happened. This company has grown 60% in the last year. Now, if I was to come to you and say, I've got a company here that has grown 60% in terms of its revenue over the past year, we're in a thriving market. Obviously, gambling is now being legalized in America. What do you think is going to happen to its stock price? Your initial reaction is probably going to be, oh, well, surely that would cause the stock price to increase, right? And whilst I am here, I might as well bring up my trusty chart that I drew up a few months back. And as you can see, the main focus that I have right here is what is going on with this business on a day-to-day basis. And as long as it's growing and as long as it's innovating, then the stock price can only catch up and reflect that performance at some point. It might take a week, it might take months, or it might even take years. It doesn't matter to me. The key thing is that when I am investing into the business, not what the price is and the price opportunity or anything like that. Now, the next thing that I want to bring up is something that is almost, I want to say, backed up my confidence in this stock over the past couple of weeks, and that is some of the insider trading action that has gone on. Now, if we actually just take a look at this chart right here, as we can see, in the past week or 2 weeks, let's say, we have seen 3 of the biggest individual holders of this stock buy significant amounts of shares at these lower prices. Now, these were bought at $36 and $39. I'm going to ignore the institutions down below here because they don't matter as much. But the key thing here is that when an individual holder is buying more of that share price, most of the time, That is because they are expecting this stock price to go up, all right? This is why we buy stocks. However, the key thing here, which makes this so much more significant to me more than anything, is that these are the guys that know this business inside out. These are not your YouTubers like me that are making just simple assumptions most of the time on a stock. These are not Jim Cramer on CNBC giving his opinion on a stock. These are the people that know the exact going ons of this business, and the fact that they are now starting to buy up more shares when it's at this price only spells a massive boost of confidence in terms of me as a retail investor investing into this stock going forward. Now, of course, if they were to sell the stock when it gets to this price, that could be an extremely worrying time, but that hasn't happened. They are buying this stock, and they are buying large quantities of this stock because they fully expect this stock to start going up, and maybe this could be a spell that it's hit the bottom. Now, this is a little bit behind as well, and obviously we've seen the stock price drop a little bit lower to, like I said, we're sitting at around $31 right now. We could even see some more insider trading go on, and I will be sure to update you as soon as I find that out. But this is a really confident sign that the individual big stakeholders are now starting to buy up more shares in this company, and like I said, it can only be a good sign for this stock going forward. So having said all of that, when it comes to my strategy in terms of investing more money into this stock, one thing that I won't be doing is simply putting all my money into DraftKings, and that is nothing to do with DraftKings at all. That is the fact that I have about 4 or 5 other growth companies that have been battered just the same way that DraftKings has, and I need to be able to spread my money across these investments to make sure I get that good value on my buck. However, I will be buying some DraftKings stock either today or early next week, and basically what my goal is with DraftKings stock is not to continuously keep putting loads of money in whilst it's falling, like catching a falling knife or anything like that. The one thing that I am actually looking for with this company is actually to start seeing that trend reverse. I don't care if I don't get the stock at the lowest price possible. I'm a long-term investor at the end of the day. The matter of fact of maybe $1 or $2 isn't going to mean that much to me in the long term. What I want to see is that reverse, especially in the Russell 2000, the reverse where the trend starts heading north again, and that's when I'm going to start averaging into this stock, because at the end of the day, it's going to take a long time to get back to the levels where I first invested, and any investment below that, of course, is going to bring my average down. So just wrapping up this video today, guys. Yes, I know it's short-term pain for any DraftKings holder in the market right now, especially if you invested around the same time that I did, or maybe even this year. I guess it's been a pretty bad year for this stock, but realistically, I personally can't see anything that has come out to say there should be massive worrying signs for this company if you are a long-term investor. But hey, all of this is just my own opinion, my own assumptions. Of course, always do your own research before you invest. But having said that, guys, drop a like if you did enjoy this video. Leave me a comment with your thoughts on DraftKings down below, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care.